Well guys, it's November the 8th. The rut is definitely on and we've had some great success. My wife and I were able to put down a couple great bucks in the last week. One of them being Big 7 right here behind me on the Spartan camera. This is a deer that showed up back in the summer. It's a deer that we've got some history with. He was around last year. Started getting these pictures of this deer actually on the Kansas end of our farm. A really unique farm that we hunt here. Part of it is in Kansas, part of it is in Nebraska. So it's really cool. We can kind of hunt both states right there. These pictures here were actually on the Kansas side of things, right on the state line. This feeder here sat like 20 yards into Kansas. And this deer kind of just stayed right there on that state line area until he shed his velvet. When he shed his velvet, he actually ended up going about a half a mile to the north, clear up on the north end of our farm in the Nebraska side, and he pretty well stayed there all year. And I actually got some really good footage of him back in September out on an alfalfa field with some does. But this was my #1 deer that I wanted to target in Nebraska. He's an old deer, just a really cool old 7-pointer that I really wanted to kill. So this week we're going to tell you the story of the old 7. It is September the 28th, and I am by myself tonight. Got 2 cameras up here in this Xenic blind. Snuck in here. I'm going to sit on an alfalfa field tonight. Really have no idea what I could see. I do have a Spartan Go Cam over here on a scrape, and had one picture of a good 8-pointer that I had earlier this summer in velvet. There has been a really old 7-pointer over here as well, and I did have one picture of a pretty good 9-pointer, just one picture of him, and it wasn't a very good picture, but it looked like a pretty good deer. So who knows what we could see tonight? I have no clue. Sitting on a big alfalfa field, I can see a long ways from right here, so I'm just gonna basically sit here and hope to learn something. Possibly could get a shot. The scrape's probably only 100 yards from us. They do come out of a block of timber here, kind of walk through this alfalfa and go to a block of timber behind me. So it's possible we could get a shot tonight, but overall this is just kind of an observation night to see what happens. But we could get lucky. Hopefully we will. I don't know. I really don't think he's probably going to get to me in time. I'm just really glad I got to see him. He's probably 280 yards straight out from the blind right now. I wish there was hay bales in this field right now, because I could probably move one of these Xenics over there. Or maybe even if I had a hay bale blind, I could get it out to where they go, because every deer kind of is going to the same place. Might be a possibility I might have to think about. We'll see. He's a beautiful deer. He's way bigger in person than I thought he was. He's a big deer, big frame. All right, guys, it is November the 3rd. This is one of my favorite times to be in the woods. The third day in November. I don't think I've ever killed a deer on the third day of November, but 3 has kind of always been a lucky number for me. And, you know, of course it is November. So this is one of my favorite days to be in the woods. I am by myself tonight, up here on one of my Nebraska pieces, in one of my favorite spots. This is a new stand that we have here. We call it the Charlie Brown tree because it's this little tiny evergreen tree. It's almost hard to get 2 people in, so it's a good thing that I'm kind of filming myself tonight. But there's been a whole bunch of really nice old mature bucks coming through here. Just most of them are really goofy. There's a 7-pointer and just some really goofy looking bucks in here. One really nice 8-pointer. Whitney's buck has been in this area in the past, but we only got a couple Spartan camera pictures of him this year. He's just been a really big ghost, but we got a big cold front today. It's down into right around 40 degrees was the high, so could be a really good night. We'll see. It's a really good spot, really good area. I've got the Dave Smith decoy out here to maybe help me get one stopped since I'm filming myself. It's been being awesome for us. I've never had a decoy work so good. So everybody else is out tonight too. My dad's been seeing some really good deer. We'll see what happens. The rut's here. November's here. I'm excited. Guys, I don't know if you can see the footage very good. There might be another buck. Another doe. Alright, so I looked up clear at the other end of this big grass patch and at the other end of the food plot here. And there's a whole bunch of does going. Well, the buck that I'm here after, he's got a big 5x5 sight on one side and a goofy looking sight on the other. He just went through with a bunch of does. Whew, my adrenaline's going. I gotta be careful because I did just rattle. I rattled just to make sure he wouldn't come over here. And he just stared over here and stared over here and stared over here where I've got the decoy. He couldn't see it. But he went out into the alfalfa. If I had a camera guy with me, I swear I think I could get down and sneak over to the edge of the field and probably kill that deer, but there's just no way I can do it by myself on camera. He is a big whole-bodied deer, man. If he matched sides, he'd be a stud. He's a stud right now, but if both sides matched, he'd be really big. There's still a lot of time left. Maybe I'll mosey on over here. You never know. Also takes one doe to come this way, so who knows? We saw him at least. Seems like that's all I can do this year is see the deer I want to shoot instead of shoot them. Seems like I see one every time I go out. He's a cool looking buck though. Well guys, I just shot Big 7. I'm excited, but I'm not at the same time. I made a terrible shot. I made an absolutely bad shot. Not gonna sugarcoat it. I sat and waited for this deer forever to turn sideways, and I'd ranged him at 33 and he got a little closer. And I shot for 30 and he must have been about 25, and I hit him high and hit him in the spine and dropped him. I did just get another arrow in him though. I think he's going down here good, so definitely not the shot I wanted, but Big 7 is down. Nebraska tag filled. Oh man, what a night, what a night. All right guys, well, November the 3rd, and we put the Big 7 on the ground. This is definitely the deer that I wanted to kill in Nebraska. I actually had an encounter with him, I believe it was either the first week of October or maybe even back in September, out here on an alfalfa field. Got some pretty good footage of him back then. Ton of Spartan camera pictures of this deer. A couple years of history. Got my dad, my mom, Cody Jarrett here. Whitney's behind the camera. Definitely did not make the best shot in the world, but there's a big buck down, big old mature buck down over here. I'm interested to look at the footage to see if he actually ducked or if I just made a bad shot, but regardless, we got a big old mature buck on the ground over here. Let's go take a look at him. Well, here he is, the Big 7. Got blood all over his antlers.
He smells hawks.
He does smell, don't he? Jeez. He smells like a rotten old buck, man. This is the #1 deer that I wanted to kill in Nebraska. See, he broke his brow here. Just a cool old deer. I just love these neat, unique deer like this. I actually sent a picture of this deer to Cody Jarrett a while back. He was like, dude, that deer's so cool looking. So I'm really glad I got him. It's cool to have history with these bucks, have the Spartan camera pictures of them. I could not be happier to put my Nebraska tag on something like this. Really cool deer. Hopefully this is the start to some stuff hitting the ground for us. Cool buck. Nebraska tag punched.
Yee! Boom.